Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदानेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। बोलो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की
जय
बोलो श्रीमद् भागवतम की
जय
हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन।
Hare Krishna everyone.
Hare Krishna.
प्रेम सर हरे कृष्णा निशा
Hare Krishna.
एंड हैप्पी बसंत पंचमी एवरीवन। आज सरस्वती प्रार्थना सुनेंगे एट द एंड। So and I think Tarun is in India for next 2 weeks. So traveling to India. But कल हम लोग श्लोक 41 पढ़ रहे थे of अध्याय 1 स्कंद 7 या और जैसा कि हम लोग पिछले श्लोक में पढ़ रहे थे भगवान कृष्ण जब शिशुपाल को मारते हैं and then शिशुपाल gets merged into the Shri Krishna environment, right? Krishna body. और वो उस सभा में जो राजसूय यज्ञ चल रहा होता है, राइट, महाराज युधिष्ठिर का राजसूय यज्ञ, तो महाराज युधिष्ठिर उसको देखते हैं and then he is surprised. Someone who has been jealous of Lord Shri Krishna, right, from birth, how can he be submerged into Lord Shri Krishna himself? And then he asks the question to whom? Whom he is asking that question, like how can someone who has been so much jealous of Lord Shri Krishna gets merged into the Shri Krishna after leaving the body? और ये क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं महाराज युधिष्ठिर राजसूय यज्ञ में। किसको पूछते हैं?
नारद मुनि से।
नारद मुनि, राइट? सो देव ऋषि नारद वहां होते हैं। नो वन एल्स इज अ बेटर ऋषि देन नारद मुनि टू रिप्लाई। और नारद मुनि अब उसका रिस्पॉन्स कर रहे हैं एंड देन ही इज एक्सप्लेनिंग हाउ भगवान इज समदर्शी, बिकॉज दैट वाज आल्सो द क्वेश्चन ऑफ परीक्षित महाराज टू सुखदेव गोस्वामी जी, if you remember, right, in the beginning. So that's what Narad Muni is explaining, how Bhagwan is Samdarshi. And in this case, he is reciting how Jay and Vijay, we saw the Sanat Kumars, right? How Sanat Kumars लोगों ने श्राप दिया उनको, Jay and Vijay को, and then they had to take birth 3 times. And that's what Narad Muni is telling right now to Yudhishthira and everyone else in that Sabha. Yeah, so yesterday we read this Shlok 41. Like appearing as Narsimhadev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Hari, killed Hiraṇyakaśipu. When the Lord delivered the planet Earth, which had fallen in the Garbhaloka ocean, Hiranyaksh tried to hinder him. And then the Lord as Varaha killed Hiranyaksh. Yeah. So Hiranyaksho is done by Shokar. Shokar रूप में Lord Varaha, yeah, killed Hiranyaksh. And then of course Singha Rupina, as we know, Narsingh रूप में Hiranyakashipu was killed by Lord Narsingh Bhagwan, and they were the Ajay, Jay and Vijay, right? Dwarkapal of Lord Vishnu. So we'll continue.
Do we have any timeline between the two events? The Vara Avatar and Narasimha Avatar?
Yeah, so first Vara Avatar happened.
Correct.
Vara Avatar killed Hiranyaksh.
Yeah.
And then after that, Lord Narsingh Avatar happened. I think Vara avatar is out of those 24 avatars. I think within first 10 is Lord Vara avatar. I think it's right in the beginning itself, because the earth goes like what Hiraṇyakaśipu does is the whole earth is taken under the ocean.
Mhm.
So that's where he takes the Vara Swarup and then goes. And so in terms of timeline,
Has it been covered earlier? Was my question, or is it?
yeah. So Vara avatar was covered in one of the cantos.
Okay, that was only my question.
Yeah. In fact, in the first canto, all 24 avatars are covered in some or other form.
Okay.
And then I think Narsingh Bhagwan's avatar will be covered in more detail. Okay. So we'll start at Shlok 42nd. Anilji?
जी हाँ। हिरण्यकशिपुः पुत्रं प्रह्लादं केशवप्रियं जिघांसुरकरोन्नाना यातनामृतहेतवे, desiring to kill his son Prahlad, who was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. Hiraṇyakashipu tortured him in many ways. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. And we know Prahlad Maharaj's story, right? Of course, Prahladam Keshav Priyam. Yeah. He was priya to Lord Vishnu, of course. And Hiranyakashipu's putra, right? Ajay?
Tam sarvbhutatma bhutam prashantam samdarshanam bhagvat tej jasa sprishtam nashvano dvanantum muddamai. The Lord, the super soul of all living entities, is sober, peaceful, and equal to everyone. Since the great devotee Prahlad was protected by Lord's potency, Hiranyakashipu was unable to kill him, in spite of endeavoring to do so in various ways. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Of course, the Bhagwan Vishnu is Sarva Bhuta Atma Bhuta. Yeah. Super soul of all living entities, all the souls. He is the super soul. Of course, he's Prashantam, he's Samdarshanam, right? That's how we describe. And a nice purport. Let's read this, Prem sir.
In this verse, the Lord Sarva Bhutatma Bhutam is very significant. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridese Arjuna Tisthati. The Lord is equally situated in the core of everyone's heart. Thus, he cannot be envious of anyone or friendly to anyone. For him, everyone is the same. Although he is sometimes seen to punish someone, this is exactly like a father punishing his child for the child's welfare. The Supreme Lord's punishment is also a manifestation of the Lord's equality. Therefore, the Lord is described as Prashantam Samdarshanam. Although the Lord has to execute his will properly, he is equipoised in all circumstances. He is equally disposed towards everyone. Hare Krishna.
Nisha?
ततस्तो राक्षसो जातो केशिनां विश्वः सुतो रावणः कुम्भकर्णश्च सर्वलोकपतापनि. Thereafter the same Jaya and Vijay, the two doorkeepers of Lord Vishnu, took birth as Ravan and Kumbhakarna, begotten by Vishrav in the womb of Kesini. They were extremely troublesome to all the people of the universe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So then we know that, of course, Ravana and Kumbhakarna, right? And their parents' name was Vishrava and Kesinya. Yeah? Keshini and Vishrava of Ravana and Kumbhakarna's parents. So that's how they were born in the next birth. And that was the Treta Yuga. Sorry. Anilji?
तत्रापि राघवो भूत्या निहनच्छापमुक्तये रामवीर्यं श्रेयसी त्वं मार्कण्डेय मुखात् प्रभो. Narad Muni continued, My dear king, just to relieve Jay and Vijay of the Brahman's curse, Lord Ramchandra appeared in order to kill Ravan and Kumbhakarna. It will be better for you to hear narrations about Lord Ramchandra's activities from Markandeya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Narad Muni is advising Yudhishthira to hear the Ramayana activities from Rishi Markandeya actually, and there are and Markandeya is also, so there are he's like known as Chiranjeevi, like he's always living forever, right? Like there are some, like we know that Hanumanji is always there, right? And like that, there are 7 other personalities. Do you know who else? Like
Ashwatthama,
Ashwatthama,
Kripacharya, Parasuram.
Kripacharya, Parshuramji. Yeah. So there are, let me show you. So those are,
Yeah.
they are supposed to live forever. This earth, like from Satyug to Satyug, up to the next Satyug, right? So Vedyasji, yeah. And Vedyasji is, we like when we start our Bhagavatam, right? Say Narottamam, we offer our obeisances to Vedyasji, right? Vedyasji is the one who has written Srimad Bhagavatam, yeah, and all the Vedas and Purans. Hanumanji, of course, right? Then Vibhikshan, Mahabali, Kripacharya, Parshuramji, Markandeya, and Ashwatthama. Yeah. So those are known as Chiranjeevi, like they are always forever. So one of them is Markandeya, and Narad Muni is asking Yudhishthira Maharaj to hear more story about Ramayana from Markandeya Muni. Ajay.
तावत्र क्षत्रियो जातो मातृशस्व स्त्रात्मजो तव अधुना शाप निमुक्तो कृष्ण चक्र हताहसो. In their third birth, the same Jaya and Vijay appeared in the family of Kshatris as your cousins, the sons of your aunt. Because Lord Krishna has struck them with his disc, all their sinful reactions have been destroyed, and now they are free from the curse. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Krishna Chakra. And who are those two peoples? Who are the two names?
Jai Vijay.
Jay and Vijay, but they appeared as what?
Shishupal and Shishupal and his brother.
Yeah, Dantu
Then
his brother, right? So that's how they appear as Jay and Vijay, right? And if you remember how Sri Krishna Bhagavan, after 100 times he abuses Lord Sri Krishna, he throws the disc to take away Shishupal, right? It's a nice purport, Premso.
in their last birth, Jay and Vijay did not become demons or rakshasas. Instead, they took birth in a very exalted Kshatriya family related to Krishna's family. They became first cousins of Lord Krishna and were particularly on an equal footing with them. By personally killing them with his own disc, Lord Krishna destroyed whatever sinful reactions were left in them because of the curse of the Brahmanas. Narad Muni explained to Maharaj Yudhishthira that by entering Krishna's body, Shishupala re-entered Vaikuntha Loka as the Lord's associate. Everyone had seen this incident.
Hare Krishna. And says, because of the curse of the Brahmins, who are the Brahmins?
Sanat Kumar.
Sanat Kumars, right? Yeah. Hare Krishna, Rinaji.
Hare Krishna भैया वरानुबंधते व्रेण ध्याने नाच्युत सात्मताम नीतो पुनर्हरे पार्श्वम जगमतो विष्णु पार्षदो. These two associates of Lord Vishnu, Jai and Vijay, maintained a feeling of enmity for a very long time. Because of always thinking of Krishna in this way, they regained the shelter of the Lord, having returned home back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. And that is called the Sayujya Mukti, right? If you remember, they got the Sayujya Mukti because they seem to have attained the Sayujya Mukti because they got merged into the Lord Sri Krishna's body. Yeah. Sri Yudhishthira Vacha Vidvesho daite putre katamasina mahatmani bruhi me bhagvani yena prahladaschachvitatmata. Maharaj Yudhishthir inquired, O my lord, Narad Muni, why was there such enmity between Hiranyakashipu and his beloved son Prahlad Maharaj? How did Prahlad Maharaj become such a great devotee of Lord Krishna? Kindly explain this to me. Yeah. So then Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking the next question of how did Prahlad Maharaj, even though born from Hiranyakashipu, became a devotee of Lord Sri Krishna? So that's what Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking. And this also ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 7th canto, 1st chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Supreme Lord is Equal to Everyone. Bolo Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
yeah. So Narad Muni explains how Lord is Samdarshi and how Shishupal and why Shishupal went back to Godhead. And then the second question is now about Prahlad Maharaj. So the chapter 2 is about Hiranyakashipu, the king of the demons. So we'll continue reading from Shlok 1, Anilji.
Shri Naraduvacha Rathrevam Vinihate Harina Krodamurtina Hiranyakashipu Rajan Paryatapya Drusha Sucha. Shri Narad Muni said, My dear King Yudhishthir, when Lord Vishnu in the form of Vara, the boar, killed Hiranyaksha's brother Hiranyakashipu was extremely angry with and began to lament. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. Says the Yudhishthira had inquired from Narad Muni why Hiranyakashipu was so envious of his own son Prahlad. Narad Muni began narrating the story by explaining how Hiranyakashipu had become a staunch enemy of Lord Vishnu. Yeah. So that's what we are reading now. Ajay?
Aha chedam rusha purnah sandasht dash dashan dashannachadah kopo jalaladvyam chaturbhyam niridhan dhumr mambaram. Filled with rage and biting his lips, Hiranyakashipu gazed at the sky with eyes that blazed in anger, making the whole sky smoky. Thus he began to speak. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay.
Karal dam strogra drastya duspreksha brukuti mukha shul mukhyam sadasi danav idam avbrevid. Exhibiting his terrible teeth, fierce glance, and frowning eyebrows, terrible to see, he took upon his weapon, a trident, and thus began speaking to his associates, the assembled demons. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. So Hiranyakashipu starts speaking to all his demons. Nisha.
भोभो दानवदैत्येया द्विमूर्धं स्त्रक्षशम्बर शतबाहो यः ग्रीव नमुचे पाक इल्वल विप्रचित्ते मम वचः पुलोमन् शकुनादयः शृणुतान्तरं सर्वे क्रियतामाशु माचिरम्. O Danavas and Daityas, O Dvimurda, Traksha Sambar and Satabahu, O Hayagriva, Namuchi, Paka and Ilvala, O Viprachiti, Puloman, Sakuna and the other demons, all of you kindly hear me attentively and then act according to my words without delay. Hare Krishna.
Rinaji.
सपत्निर्घातितः शूद्रैर्भ्राता मे दयितः सुहृत् पार्ष्णिग्राहेण हरिणा समे नाप्युपधावने. My insignificant enemies, the demigods, have combined to kill my very dear and obedient well-wisher, my brother Hiranyaksha. Although the Supreme Lord Vishnu is always equal to both of us, namely the demigods and the demons, this time being devoutly worshipped by the demigods. He has taken their side and helped them kill Hiraṇyakaśipu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Lord Vishnu, of course, took Devata's side. Anilji?
तस्य त्यक्तस्वभावस्य गणेर्माय बनोकसः भजन्तं भजमानस्य बालस्य वास्तिरात्मनः मच्छूलभिन्नग्रीवस्य भूर्णारूध्रेण वै अस्रक्प्रियं तर्पयस्य भ्रातरं मे गतः. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has given up his natural tendency of equality toward the demons and demigods. Although he is the Supreme Person, now, influenced by Maya, he has assumed the form of a boar to please his devotees, the demigods, just as a restless child leans towards someone. I shall therefore sever Lord Vishnu's head from his trunk by my trident, and with the profuse blood from his body, I shall please my brother Hiraṇyakaśipu, who was so fond of sucking blood. Thus shall I too be peaceful. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And who is speaking this?
Hiraṇyakaśipu.
Hiraṇyakashipu, right? After his brother Hiranyaksh, as we have read about the Lord Varaha's story, right? Yes. Ajay?
तस्मिन् कूटे अहिते नष्टे कृतमूले वनस्पतौ विटपा इव शुष्यन्ति विष्णुप्राणा दिवौकसः. When the root of a tree is cut and the tree falls down, its branches and twigs automatically dry up. Similarly, when I have killed the diplomatic Vishnu, the demigods for whom Lord Vishnu is the life and soul, will lose the source of their life and wither away. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
तावद्ध्यात्वा भूयं युवं ब्रह्मक्षत्र समेधितं सुदयुध्वं तपोयज्ञ स्वाध्यायव्रतदानिनः. While I am engaged in the business of killing Lord Vishnu, go down to the planet Earth, which is flourishing due to Brahminical culture and a Kshatriya government. These people engage in austerity, sacrifice, Vedic study, regulative vows, and charity. Destroy all the people thus engaged. Hare Krishna.
So Hiranyakashipu gets so mad that he is behind Lord Vishnu and he is advising all the demons to go down and stop all the Satogun people, right? Who are doing tap, yagya, swadhyaya, vrat, danina, and all that, right? So he advises, he asks them to go and destroy all these things, right? Nisha?
विष्णुर्द्विजक्रियामूलो यज्ञो धर्ममयः पुमान् देवर्षि पितृभूतानां धर्मस्य च परायण. The basic principle of Brahmanical culture is to satisfy Lord Vishnu, the personification of sacrificial and ritualistic ceremonies. Lord Vishnu is the personified reservoir of all religious principles, and he is the shelter of all the demigods, the great Pitas, and the people in general. When the Brahmins are killed, no one will exist to encourage the Kshatriyas to perform yajnas, and thus the demigods, not being appeased by yajna, will automatically die. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Rinaji?
यत्र यत्र द्विजा गावो वेदा वर्णाश्रम क्रिया तम तम जनपदम यात संदीपयत वृश्चत. Immediately go wherever there is good protection for the cows and brahmanas, and wherever the Vedas are studied in terms of the Varnashram principles. Set fire to those places and cut from the roots the trees there, which are the source of life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. इति ते भर्तृ निर्देश मादाय शिरसार्दिता तथा प्रजानां कदनम विदधुः कदम प्रिया. Thus, the demons, being fond of disastrous activities, took Hiranyakashipu's instructions on their heads with great respect and offered him obeisances. According to his directions, they engaged in envious activities directed against all living beings. Anilji?
पुरग्राम ब्रजोद्यान क्षेत्रारामाश्रमाकरान् खेट खर्वट घोषांश्च ददुः पत्तनानि च. The demons set fire to the cities, villages, pasturing grounds, cow pens, gardens, agricultural fields, and natural forests. They burned the hermitages of the saintly persons, the important mines that produce valuable metals, the residential quarters of the agriculturalists, the mountain villages, and the villages of the cow protectors. The cowherd men, they also burned the government capitals. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
केचित् नित्रभिदु सेतु प्रकार गोपुरान् आजीव्याञ्छ्रि वृक्षान् केचित् परशुपाणयः प्रादहन् शरणान्येके प्रजानां ज्वलितोल्लमुकै. Some of the demons took digging instruments and broke down the bridges, the protective walls, and the gates, gopuras of the cities. Some took axes and began cutting the important trees that produce mango, jackfruit, and other sources of food. Some of the demons took firebrands and set fire to the residential quarters of the citizens. Hare Krishna.
Prem sir?
Evam viprakrite loke datyen tranu charemoham divam deva parityajya bhuvi cherul lakshita. Thus disturbed again and again by the unnatural occurrences caused by the followers of Hiraṇyakaśipu, all the people had to cease the activities of Vedic culture. Not receiving the results of yajna, the demigods also became disturbed. They left their residential quarters in the heavenly planets and, unobserved by the demons, began wandering on the planet Earth to see the disasters. Hare Krishna.
Nisha?
हिरण्यकशिपुर् भ्रातुः सम्परेतस्य दुःखितः कृत्वा कटोदकादीनि भ्रातुपुत्रान् सान्त्वयत्. After performing the ritualistic observances for the death of his brother, Hiranyakashipu, being extremely unhappy, tried to pacify his nephews. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vinaji?
Shakunim Shambaram Drishtim Bhuta Santapanam Vrikam Kalanabham Mahanabham Harishmashrumathotkacham Tan Mataram Rushabhanum Ditim Cha Jananim Gira Shlakshanya Deshakalagya Idmaha Janeshwara. O king, Hiranyakashipu was extremely angry, but since he was a great politician, he knew how to act according to the time and situation. With sweet words, he began pacifying his nephews, whose names were Sakuni, Sambara, Drishti, Bhut, Santapana, Vrak, Kalanab, Mahanab, Harish Masru, and Utkach. He also consoled their mother, his sister-in-law, Rusubhanu, as well as his own mother, Diti. He spoke to them all as follows. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Hiranyaksh is sons and of course mother Diti. Hiranyakashipu tried to pacify them. Hiranyakashipu vacha Amba hevaruhe putra viran mahat suchitum Tripori bhimuke shanyagah shura nam vada ipshitah. Hiranyakashipu said, My dear mother, sister-in-law, and nephews, you should not lament for the death of the great hero, for a hero's death in front of his enemy is glorious and desirable. Yeah. And whom is he referring here as a hero's death?
His brother,
Yeah, his brother Hiranyaksha. Yeah. Anilji?
yeah. Bhutanami samvasaha prapyamiva subrate Daive ekatra nitana munnitanam sakarmabhihi. My dear mother, in a restaurant or place for drinking cold water, many travelers are brought together, and after drinking water, they continue to their respective destinations. Similarly, living entities join together in a family, and later, as a result of their own actions, they are led apart to their destinations. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Hiranyakashipu is explaining this. And actually a nice pair. Let's read this. Ajay?
Although Hiranyakashipu was a demon, he had Vedic knowledge and understanding. Thus, the advice given to his family members, his sister-in-law, mother, and nephews was quite sound. The demons are considered highly elevated in knowledge, but because they do not use their good intelligence for the service of the Lord, they are called demons. The demigods, however, act very intelligently to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.13 as follows. Ataha Pumbhir Dvijashreshth Varanasrama Vibhaga Sah Swanusithai Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritosanam. O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging his prescribed duties, dharma, according to caste division and orders of life, is to please the Lord Hari. To become a demigod or to become godly, whatever one's occupation, one must satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Hari? So now.
Here, I don't know why they have used the word caste, because they should use the word varn.
That's okay, I think so. But here basically the caste really refers to what is one's occupation, basically.
Yeah, the verse itself talks about varn, right? I mean, I think the translation, they should have maintained that.
Here.
Yeah. Varnasrama Vigabhagasya.
According to the caste divisions and orders of life. Yeah.
So
Varnash, Vibhagasya. Yeah.
So they should have used varn.
That's okay. I think, but this is caste divisions is used at a lot of places actually. So the Varnashram and the caste division used at a lot of places. It's just that because of later on how the caste system was utilized, I think that's why the word has become a bad word, right? But it really means to show that whatever is one's occupation is, right? They satisfy that, like basically, essentially they do their prescribed duties. So what this really means is everyone should do their prescribed duties. But then above this, the most important part is to get involved in the devotional service, is what is being mentioned. And so, for example, it's even mentioned like you don't have to be born in a specific family or caste from that perspective to be that person, right? Like to be a Vaishnava, you don't have to be born in the family of Brahman, right? You can be born in a family of Shudra, but then being karmas and being involved in the devotional service, you can be Vaishnava, right? So the caste is based on the karmas, has been mentioned at a lot of places.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just saying that we should not use the word caste because it's foreign for us as such. We should just use varn itself.
Yeah, it's okay, just an explanation. Yeah. All right. Prem?
Nitya Atma Vya Shuddha Savarg Sarva Vipat Datte Savatmano Linga Mayaya Vishu Jagnu Gunan. The spirit soul, the living entity, has no death, for he is eternal and inexhaustible. Being free from material contamination, he can go anywhere in the material or spiritual worlds. He is fully aware and completely different from the material body. But because of being misled by misuse of his slight independence, he is obliged to accept subtle and gross bodies created by the material energy, and thus be subjected to the so-called material happiness and distress. Therefore, no one should lament for the passing of the spirit soul from the body. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so and you'll be surprised like how Hiraṇyakaśipu is giving this message. Yeah.
Mm.
Hiranyaksh children and his own mother, Diti, right? And he is explaining how the spirit soul, yeah, Nitya Atma Vyaya hai, is how it is Shuddha, Sarvagah hai, Sarvavitpara hai. Yeah. The living entity has no death, it's eternal, it's inexhaustible, right? So no one should lament for the passing of the spirit soul from the body, is what he is telling to everyone. And it's a nice purport. So let's read that. Nisha?
Hiraṇyakaśipu very intelligently described the position of the soul. The soul is never the body, but is always completely different from the body. Being eternal and inexhaustible, the soul has no death. But when the same pure soul desires to enjoy the material world independently, he is placed under the condition of material nature and must therefore accept a certain type of body and suffer the pains and pleasures thereof. This is also described by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 13.22. Karnam guna sango sya sad asad yoni janmasu. The living entity is born in different families or species of life because of being infected by the modes of material nature. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. Based on the law of karma, everyone is born in different families. Rinaji?
When conditioned by material nature, the living entity must accept a certain type of body, which is offered by nature under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Usvara sarvabhutanam hrideshe Arjuna tishtati Brahmayan sarvabhutani yantra arduvani mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjun, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities, who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. Bhagavad Gita 18.61. The body is just like a machine, and according to the living entity's karma, he is offered a particular type of machine to move here and there under the control of material nature. This continues until he surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam taranti te. Until he surrenders, the conditioned soul is carried from life to life by the arrangement of material nature. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So the most important part mentioned here is until one surrenders, and how do we surrender to Lord Shri Krishna? What is the process of surrendering? How do we surrender?
By performing 9
Right, bhakti yoga, right? By doing the devotional service. That's what surrender means, right? We do the devotional service by those 9 different ways, as Ajay is mentioning, right? Shamanam, Kirtanam, like we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, or we are chanting, doing the Kirtan, so on and so forth, right? And that's what is mentioned. And of course, and we all know the body is just like a machine, right? And based on the karmas, we are offered a particular type of machine, like a particular type of body. And there are, like, as we know, 8.4 million different species in the world, in different types of bodies, right? Animals and human beings and man and woman and all different kind of things, right? So all that is offered based on the living entity's karma, and then keep moving here and there, means in this whole universe, yeah, under the control of material nature. But this continues until he surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Until he surrenders, the conditioned soul is carried from life to life by the arrangement of material nature. So this is what is mentioned. We are going to pause here. This over time. And it's Basant Panchami today. So we are going to hear very nice Saraswati Ma Stuti. Yeah. So we'll first hear the 2-minute one. And there's a very beautiful Saraswati Vandana. Yeah. So we are going to also hear that. It's 5 minutes. Yeah. So, but let's just hear that. Share screen. Beautiful Saraswati Vandana. Yeah. Oh, Saraswati Mata ki Jai.
Jai.
Basant Panchami. I don't know. Yeah, I think we just generally make some sweet rice and all that. Meethe feeke chawal. Not. So it was nice. And it's Wednesday, so a long break. We'll see you back on Monday. Yeah.
Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.